The first time it happened, I thought it was just a reflection. A second time, I stopped breathing. Because that night, when I turned off the lamp beside my bed, my shadow didn't. It stayed right there on the wall standing, waiting while I lay frozen, staring at it. And then it moved. Not away from me, but toward me. My name is Aaron Miles. I live alone in a small rented apartment right above an old bookstore here in Cresswell, Oregon. The building itself was built back in 1918, and it absolutely feels every bit of it. You know, the tight creaking floors, pipes that rattle and flicker, and that constant faint smell of old dust and paper. For months, life was perfectly normal. Nothing strange ever happened. That is, until the power company decided to replace the old streetlight just outside my window. The new light was different. It was brighter, colder, and at night, it poured through my blinds, stretching my shadow across the wall directly opposite my bed. It moved when I did, of course, just like a shadow should. Until that one night it didn't. As I reached for the lamp to turn it off, I saw the silhouette of an arm already raised, as if it was waiting for me. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest. I flicked the light off and on, but each time, the result was the same. My shadow was there before I was. The next morning, I tried to brush it off, to convince myself it was just exhaustion. I'd been working late shifts at the diner, and my eyes were probably playing tricks on me. It had to be. But that night, I decided to test it. I sat up in bed and slowly lifted my hand, palm open, and just waited. The shadow on the wall followed my movement, but it was just a second too soon. Not after I moved, but before. It was anticipating me. Every little movement I made, it somehow already knew what I was going to do. It was like it was one step ahead, leading my actions before I could even perform them. I tried moving faster, turning my head suddenly, making jerky, unpredictable motions, but the delay never changed. It was always ahead of me, just by a single heartbeat. It was unnerving, a quiet, creeping dread that settled deep in my gut. I wasn't just seeing things anymore. Something was fundamentally wrong. After 3 nights of this silent, unnerving dance, I stopped sleeping. I just couldn't bring myself to turn off the lights. I'd sit there all night, keeping every lamp in the apartment on, eating breakfast at 3 a.m., just to pass the time, and deliberately avoiding looking at any walls. I was terrified of what I might see. Then, one morning, I woke up slumped in my chair to find the curtains drawn closed. I hadn't touched them. I always left them open. In the dimness of the room, everything was darker than it should have been, unnaturally so. And there, stretched across the floorboards, was a black outline. But it wasn't quite human anymore. Its shape was distorted, its head tilted at an impossible angle, like it was listening for something. I scrambled to my feet and moved toward the window to pull the curtains open, desperate for some sunlight. But as I did, I caught my reflection in the glass. It didn't move with me. It just stayed there, hands at its sides, staring forward with a blank expression. And then, as I blinked, my reflection smiled. I couldn't take it anymore. I called my landlord first thing that morning, my voice shaking. I asked him if anyone had ever reported anything strange about this apartment. He got quiet. He said that, actually, no one else had ever lived there for very long. They always broke their leases early, some after only a week. When I pressed him, asking why, he hesitated for a long moment. Then he said they complained about something in the walls. A leak, they called it. Or a shape. A shape? That word sent a chill right through me. I spent the rest of the day at the local library, digging through old building records, anything I could find about this place. That's when I found him. In 1924, a man named Ellis Turner ran a photography shop on the ground floor, right where the bookstore is now. He was known for his portrait work, but none of his subjects were ever identified. The records got darker from there. When police entered his studio after he died, they found dozens and dozens of developed photographic negatives. But they were all missing their subjects. Only their shadows remained, captured on the film. Last night, I packed a bag. I knew I had to get out, to just leave and never look back. But as I turned toward the door, something shifted in my peripheral vision, a flicker along the wall, like a dark movement caught just in the corner of my eye. My hand went to the lamp switch out of pure instinct. I turned it off. And for the first time in over a week, there was no shadow on the wall. Not mine. Not anyone's. Just pure, empty darkness. And then, from directly behind me, I heard a sound. A whisper. "You're late." When I spun around, it was already standing right where I had been. Some reflections don't wait to be seen. They just learn how to live without you. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Stay safe out there